So in this video, I'm going to show you how to deliver the club through the golf ball that will result in nice passive draws or very neutral straight ball flights every single time. So I'm Jonathan Chown with JChownGolf. Let's dive right into it. So we know there are two main ways to deliver the golf club through the golf ball. You could either be delivering the golf club on an in-to-out path where that club is traveling on the inside and going out through the golf ball, or you could be making that club go on the outside going in, so an out to in shot. So really those two release patterns can be quite inconsistent for us. So if we talk about that into out path, so what a lot of people are trying to get if they want to draw the golf ball. So when we're going from in to out, that is going to create a draw biased path. So if we're traveling through that into out path and our club face is slightly closed to that path going through there, we're going to create a little draw shot for sure. But when we're having an into out swing, those hands will be very much disconnecting away from our body, traveling right. You might have been told before to feel like you're chucking a club out to the right field there. So we know to do that, your body will have to stop rotating and you would have to flip quite hard with the hands because the body has stopped. So you could generally hit, yep, nice draw shot. Because your body's stopped rotating, hands are flipping, you could quickly turn one over left, hit a snap hook. Or if you hold that face off, maybe your timing's a little bit off on it, you could hit a ball out to the right. So with an out to in swing path, we know, okay, we're traveling from the outside of the ball, coming into it through delivery, to the inside, which will more create a fade bias path. So if our club face is slightly open to that path, we could then produce more of a fade shot, a gentle fade to our target. But we know as you over the top slices out there, how inconsistent that can be. If you have your club face massively open to that path, well, that ball's slicing off crazy. Or even if you are slightly closing down that club face going through the golf ball, dead straight pulls out to the left. So we could see there are a lot of inconsistencies with those two release patterns. But what if I tell you there is a third one? And this is a one a hell of a lot of tour players do, modern tour players out there. Even some old school tour players used to do this. And this is called an in-to-in delivery. So from inside to inside. So what is an in-to-in delivery? Just like we said, club traveling from the inside coming into the golf ball and then back around your body on the inside again. So you can imagine it is the in-to-out path just without the outside portion. So why is that so beneficial? Why do so many top players do this move and travel in a similar way through the golf ball? Is because when we are doing a path that is exiting left, so the inside portion on the exit part through around your body, that makes the club face very, very stable. So the club face then will not be flipping over quite as hard. So like we said with the in to out guys, what they could struggle with, you know, they would have to slow down their body rotation to get the club traveling on the outside portion, which we know if the body rotation stops, the hands will get overactive. And of course, what are the hands holding on to? The club face, they'll flip over. They could close the club face, they could open it. You know, hooks, blocks, all that type of stuff there. So if we have a delivery and an exit through the golf ball that is traveling around us, eliminating this portion of it, you can see how much more consistent we're going to be on eliminating those massive miss shots. But as well, for those out to in guys, if you want to hit, let's say, a more draw or more neutral ball flight there without having to, you know, add extra risk on then developing an inside to out swing, you're going to benefit massively from this. Okay, so how do we achieve and how do we get this in-to-in path through the golf ball? Because yeah, we want to hit some nice either little passive draws or quite straight shots, which this will produce because it's going to, like we said, stabilize the club face so nicely. So why that is a little bit of why when we were just talking about it before, is because we're rotating very well through the golf ball. To have those hands go exit inwards around our body going through the golf ball, you need to rotate through there. Wherever we rotate, the hands will follow. So it's like if we rotate in the backswing, the hands will go in and around. If we rotate through the golf ball, the hands will go in and around there. So we know we have to be rotating there. So really, of course, I could end the video right there if I wanted to, but I'm not gonna, because we're gonna talk about a really good drill with that towel there. We need to be on an inside path and then rotate through that golf ball quite nicely in the simplest terms here. So what I've got here, and we'll talk about it a tiny bit more in depth once we get this down there. So I've got a towel. Now what I'm gonna do with this towel, I am gonna put this towel on the outside of the golf ball. So really down the ball line, I'll put it up actually a little bit better than that. I just plopped it down there. There we go. So something like a long towel, something like a box of irons is actually a brilliant one. I used to use a big long box of irons all the time when I was doing a lot of in-person lessons, which did the exact same thing there. But you can see, when we're having the towel on the outside of the ball line, that's going to prevent two outcomes, isn't it? I'll take those off my head before those fall off when I hit this. So you can imagine, right, if I'm going on an in to out path, it's very likely, let's take that ball out of the way for a second, very likely that I'm going to hit the towel, isn't it? So again, that's going to promote me to move on a more in to in path through that golf ball there. But let's say I'm just an over the top guy, I'm quite out to win, I want to develop a good delivery through the golf ball. You're going to hit that towel coming down in your downswing there. So a very beneficial thing there. So we could, if you wanted to keep this as simple as possible for this area of the golf swing, you could put a ball here, put it about a club head's distance to start off with, away from that towel, and then start off with some small swings first, just feeling that club going around you, exiting around your body there. So this will create that path and that delivery going through the golf ball there. So we could just build our swing up, of course, going from small swings, then to big swings, doing that same thing, and we will start to develop that look. But like with my golf videos, I always want to get you to understand the movement a little bit more, because the more you know about it, the easier it will become. So for us, we know, okay, we need the swing path to be on the inside coming down, and we need it to go inside as we're going through with the good rotation. So we need to make sure, so we've got the inside portion of the downswing there, we need to make sure if we're doing this naturally without manipulating the club, forcing it to travel inside through the golf ball, we need to have good depth at the top of the backswing. So depth of our hands. So the more hand depth we have at the top of the swing means the more behind us they are. So whenever anything is deeper in the golf swing, means more behind us there. So that normally means for most golfers, we need to be able to have a good rotational backswing. Like I said, wherever we rotate in the golf swing, the hands will follow. So if I have a good rotational backswing, hands get deeper. Why that's advantageous for us? Because now that club's going to fall on path and fall on slightly on an in to out path, the path that we want naturally. We don't have to manipulate that club to fall on the inside. It will just happen because the little rotational move we'll have in the downswing to start it off won't force the club too far out in front of us. So I've got that part now very nicely. Now I can get those reps in going through the golf ball here, because as we're coming down the downswing, what starts to happen, I'll put a link up here if you haven't watched my latest video before this, which was about tilts in the downswing, because in the downswing, how we have our left side be lower than our right lead side here. And as we're coming through the golf ball, we start to side bend through the ball there. So that right side from shaft parallel to the ground starts to drop down to the ground, which creates that extra rotation going through the ball that will get the hands curving left. So that's just a little bit of understanding what goes on underneath the hood when you're doing this. So let's get that good depth. We don't need to think massively about the side bend going through here, because us just trying to miss this going through the golf ball, we will naturally start to do that side bend as we're turning through the golf ball. It is quite a natural movement we see there with that right side dropping coming into the ball here. So again, let's just hit some shots. Definitely felt much better with my depth at the top there. So one more, just getting the reps, and if we're feeling dangerous, if we're feeling good with it, we feel like we're quite confident, we can put this quite close to it. If this will want to, actually I'll move the towel because the mat is obviously not wanting to keep the ball close to it. That's difficult, I'll tell you what. So let's get this and go. You can see my club head's almost touching that towel, so I've really got to curve this around. Let's give it a go. Oh, I think I hit it there. I think I hit it, but not massively. So you can see there, if I'm traveling from that inside, I'm traveling back round through the golf ball on the inside, which this will be forcing. My club face is going to be moving very stable. So I'm either one, depending on my depth at the top of the backswing, going to be producing a passive draw. So obviously, like we said, the deeper we are, the more of the draw path we'll create. But it'll be a passive draw because we've got that good rotation coming through the golf ball there. But let's say if I've got a normal amount of depth, I'll be hitting a fairly straight shot, but exiting that club around the body, which means that club face, because I'm having good rotation doing that, will not be closing down on you. So gone are the times of really having to go in to out to create that draw with the big old hand flip through the golf ball. That's not necessary at all. You don't need to be flipping that club face over to hit the draw. You don't need to be exiting those hands on the outside at all. You just need the depth to get there, and then you need to be turning through that golf ball, getting that club moving in. Brilliant drill for you to do. Pretty much every golfer can do this drill and benefit from it quite nicely. So have a good practice of that, and you'll definitely be doing it a little bit. So if you like this video, of course, click that like button. And if you want more golf instruction just like this, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button too, to be notified every time I put out a video. So let's get practicing this, and let's be a lot more stable with this going through the golf ball, hitting straighter or little draw shots.